Hello and welcome to For Future Generations, episode 29. It is the 16th of August. It is a beautiful day, a wonderful day for a lot of folks, and some folks are more busy than others, and it is a good day to be doing good things. Sean will not be joining us today. He has some real life instances, some things that he's doing in his community. Good things, nothing to be worried about, but do pray for Sean that he'll be successful in the things he's doing, because big things are happening, and it's a good thing for him to be able to be doing those. But welcome to the show. Glad to have y'all along for the ride. And if you'll excuse me, I've got a little bit of housekeeping to do, just a hair here and there. This is usually the time when I would ask Sean to introduce himself or introduce our guests, what have you. But just going to drop the link for the live show into the Facebook group. If you are not a member of our Facebook group, you can find it on Facebook. It's called For Future Generations Fan Club. Would love to have you there. And that is one of the ways to find the show. We are obviously live on Twitter and Rumble and YouTube as well. Most people seem to watch the show on either Twitter or YouTube, and we're very happy to have y'all. But we also do have a very devoted Rumble following. So if you are the following on Rumble, if you are those guys who show up, who comment, who like the videos on Rumble and watch there, we appreciate you there as well. Anyhow, we hope you are having a wonderful evening today. Like I said earlier, the weather is beautiful. It has gotten hot. So here in Texas, it is normal in the winter or in the summer for things to be dry and dead. And my dad always said, it's like having a second winter, because Texas has two winters. In the summer, it gets, we have a winter season where nothing grows. And this year we didn't really have that. As I'm looking out my window, I'm looking at big, lush green bushes and weeds and things that need to be mown. And I need to get out there on the mower and cut it all down. But, God has really blessed us with a lot of rain this year and cooler temperatures, but it has gotten warm. So it is hot now. But it's been nice. It's been nice, and we appreciate the cool reprieve. But Texas summer is in full swing now. We've got the 100-degree highs, 100 plus Fahrenheit for those of you in the Euro world. That's just what we call freaking hot. All right. It is just very, very hot outside, but we will survive with the help of the blessings God has given us, AC and refrigeration. Amen. So crack open a nice cold drink and let's get into it. So the name of the show today is Field of Dead Fish. And I've got a kind of a subtitle on there. How DEI is killing America, killing the world that you grew up in. There's an old meme that I'm sure we've all seen. If you haven't, I'll maybe post it on my Twitter feed. You can find it there. Of a girl standing in a young girl, like 4 or 5 years old, standing in a field of flowers, looking over the water at the World Trade Centers. And the caption just says something along the lines of, the world in which you grew up no longer exists. And there's variations of this meme. Some of them say things like the world in which you learned to survive, the world you were raised to survive in, no longer exists. The point being, the world that you grew up in isn't around anymore, and you're going to have to figure it out. You know, a lot of people in our generation, the millennials and younger, are learning how to live in a world that has changed quite a bit, and not necessarily all for the better. I mean, the technology is nice. It's fun to have a phone that can just reach out and connect to things. Really cool, but not necessarily all for the better. So if you'll excuse my glancing here, I'm just going to make sure that we're working on all platforms. The YouTube stream is good. Looks like the Twitter stream is good. All right. Looking good, looking good. Let me just pop in and make sure our guys on Rumble aren't getting left behind. If you'll excuse me just a little bit, I do have some sort of crumminess, a sickness or stomach virus of some sort, but nothing extreme, just enough to be really annoying. Anyhow, hope y'all are doing well and not sick, but the show must go on because the world keeps turning. So first thing first, there is one story that I want to kind of start off with, and it's the namesake of the show is, the field of dead fish. And I think that it's hard, very hard to get a more appropriate show name than Field of Dead Fish. It was actually Sean's idea to call the show this. Here we have Libs of TikTok, which is an interesting thing to follow on Twitter. Maybe give it a like and a follow, but she's not one of our guys, so to speak. First off, it's a lady. Second off, she's not a Christian. She's from a very special people. And some of that favoritism comes out in the way that she runs her channel. But here she says, meet the Tim Waltz appointed director of natural resources, Sarah Strawman. And now, funny thing about this, there will be a little bit of a caveat. I have been able to find zero reporting on this in the mainstream media. When I look up Sarah Strawman, I can find who she is. I can find what she does. But when it comes to the story about what we're about to talk about, I cannot find a single mainstream article about it. But what I am finding is people from both sides, liberals, conservatives, leftists, Christian nationalists, everybody is talking about this like it did happen. So surely there is a proper story about this somewhere. I just can't seem to get my hands on it. But lots of information about Sarah Strawman. What made me curious about this is her name is literally Strawman. So it would be hilarious if this were all sort of a cooked up story, right? We just made it up. Here's a woman who's head of director of natural resources. It says, her department just drained a lake after they accidentally left a valve open. Now there is just a field of dead fish. Sarah was celebrated as the first woman to lead the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota. And there we have our picture of her. I mean, does she look like a super competent person? She looks like a college librarian. Okay. Should college librarians be head of the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota? Well, evidently not. Evidently not. Unless you want Minnesota to become the land of 999 lakes, because they've lost at least one. But what is this? What is this? There's this weird desire right now in our society for people to hire females right? There's this absolute necessity. You will hire females, you will hire foreigners, you will not hire straight white men. We've seen the numbers on, Microsoft laying off thousands of people and then opening up thousands of openings, which they're then applying for H-1B visas to be able to hire foreigners to fill these positions. So they seem to have this almost religious desire to not hire straight white Americans. So anyhow, all right. I just got a message from Sean. He says, I just got home. I might jump on. Sean, come save me. Come save me from myself, man. But anyhow, this desire to keep straight white males out of the workforce for some bizarre reason. It's not like we did anything to deserve this, right? We invented the light bulbs that light your house. We invented the air conditioning that keeps you cool. We invented the mattress you sleep on. We invented and created all of these niceties for you to be able to live in the luxurious setting in which you find yourself today. And for that, for all that, what we receive is a slap in the face. No, we don't want you here. It's our turn, right? The woman constantly saying, it's our turn. Men have been in charge for long enough. It's our turn. And what do when it becomes their turn? They leave a valve opened. Now, Sarah Strawman did not herself leave the valve open, but it did happen on her watch. And I wasn't there, and I can't find any reporting on it, so I can't prove who did leave the valve open. But what are the odds? Stay with me here. What are the odds that it was left open by some foreign DEI hire? Minnesota has a lot of Somalians moving in. Do Somalians even know how to use water valves on lakes? I mean, they don't even have lakes over there. They don't even have valves over there. Do they even know how those work? So maybe, and I'm being a little facetious there. I mean, I do know that Somalia does have lakes. They have a dam, actually, and it's the center of a little bit of African drama if you follow international news. But all right, Sean is here. Sean, are you ready to be added to the stage?
Send it. Where am I at?
All right.
Here we go.
We're just dropping you in, dropping you right in the middle. So what we've talked about so far is the field of dead fish. Sarah Strawman, the first woman to lead the Department of Natural Resources in Minnesota. In Minnesota, first in woman history. And now Minnesota is no longer the land of 1,000 lakes. It is the land of 999.
Ah, that's great. It's actually 10,000 lakes, so now it's down to 9,999. Yeah.
My bad. I'm not a Michigander. I'm not up on all.
Minnesota.
I'm not a Minnesotan either, man. All man, right. I got the wrong side of the lake over there.
I see that. Goodness. Are we streaming on Twitter?
We are.
Okay. I'm not showing live viewers on there. Anyways.
Yeah. Do you want to? We get a big bump anytime that in our live show that you retweet it. So
that's true. I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, if you want to retweet our show, that'll get us maybe some more folks on board. But anyhow, Sean, I thought I know that you saw this story come across your dashboard on Twitter this week.
Oh my goodness, it drove me nuts. She just couldn't wait to call a strike. She didn't wait till it was a strike. She was just like,
I don't think this woman was even looking. Dude, I think she was sitting back there with her hands together. I mean, first off, the way she's standing like she's trying not to get hit. You'll see a girl or a kid standing like when you're about to throw a baseball at them, they're like, please please don't hit me. Right? They're scared of the ball. This woman's acting like she's scared of the ball. All right. So first off, not good. But first female home plate umpire. Let's play the video.
And here we go. Joey Wentz likes that first call from Jim Powell. He'll take it, and I wonder if they're going to take the baseball. I guess not.
Look at her eyes.
That would be kind of a big one. There we go. Now we got it.
I know she's doing. Ready.
And here we go. Joey Wentz likes that first call from Jim Powell. He'll take it, and I wonder if they're going to take the baseball. I guess not. I thought that maybe that would be kind of a big one. There we go. Now we got it.
Ready. So, first female home plate umpire in MLB history. Jen Powell called the first pitch of the game a strike, and it wasn't even close. Folks, you saw it yourself. Man, Sean, I don't watch a lot of baseball. You know I don't watch a lot of baseball, but I have seen enough to know that the world of baseball is in trouble, man.
That could have been literally 6 inches off the plate. Like that's usually people being hyperbolic about it. Oh, that call was 6 inches off the plate. But that one might literally have been, I mean, it was multiple.
It was bad.
Like, if you play it again, I want to verify if my.
Yeah, what I saw was that it was very close to the batter.
Is ready. We hope you're ready. And here we
go. Very low.
Dude, that's okay.
Joey Wentz likes that first call from Jim Powell.
Let's talk strike zone real quick. Strike zone. So, the baseball does not have, the whole baseball does not have to be in the strike zone. So let's say
it just has to touch it.
Yeah. So this like crossing this much into the strike zone is a strike.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a part of the plate that you can't see on TV that is black. And if it's over that black part of the plate, that's considered a strike. So they now, after the last couple of years, they give you a little square on some of the broadcasts like they do for that one. And that's supposed to be the strike zone. Now, up and down has official rules, but I've always just heard knees to nipples. That's what I've always gone by. Mm-hmm. Some people say armpits instead of nipples, but there's MLB has
the same spot.
Yeah, MLB has changed up and down over the years. So they've had it to where it's like X amount of balls either under or above the knee. I forget how they've changed it, but they've changed up and down. And up and down changes per batter, but it never changes over the plate. So the strike zone is like here. The strike zone's here. And then you could count like 1 and probably a half. And then there's the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it could have been like 6 inches off the plate. I mean, it was way, I mean, I don't think
it's almost like the batter's about to get clobbered kind of a miss. I mean, this is real bad. If he had his elbow down, it would have clocked him.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a little higher, for sure. I mean, it's pretty wild that got called a strike. And that's what's funny is, like, you know, the announcers knew, well, this is going to be a big moment, this first pitch. Yeah. And when they're talking about the ball, so if you ever see somebody in, like, on camera and they're doing this motion, this motion means give me the ball. So if it's a player's first major league hit, you'll see that.
They'll collect the ball.
You know, give me the ball, throw it over here. And they authenticate it. And then so that, you know, it shows there's some mark that they have on it, or there's a mark that shows which number the baseball is.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say, oh, that number baseball is this monumental thing.
Yeah, they're serialized.
Yeah, and they do that because in the past, we've lost historic baseballs. So, you know, much to my chagrin, the Game 1, 1988 World Series, Kirk Gibson goes up there, hits a walk-off homer against, dude, I'm blanking now, Dennis Eckersley, right? I don't like that moment because I'm an A's fan, but it's a huge moment. It gets showed. The video gets shown all the time. We have no idea what happened to that baseball.
Yeah.
We see in the video, it goes in the stands, but we don't know what happened to it after that. Now they have authenticating things. So they know which number baseball it is. And all that to say, it was a monumental enough idea that after the pitch was thrown, you see, you know, oh, send it to, there's a dedicated guy sitting behind home plate, the authenticator. It's not directly behind home plate, but he's the guy. You give it to him. He's got his book. He does whatever. This is the ball, hands it off. So it was that monumental, and this will forever be the video.
Mm-hmm.
First call by a female umpire is
tragic.
Not even close. Yeah, not even close. I'm curious to see the rest of the game. I don't know.
I think it's hilarious because for at least a few years now, people have been calling for robot umpires.
Yes.
Get the umpire out of there. And there's that, I don't remember the guy's name, but the big barrel-chested, roided out dude who's always calling the wrong shots.
You might be thinking of Angel Hernandez is the guy everyone used to hate.
I'm thinking of Angel Hernandez, I think. That sounds about right. But, I mean, the dude was just absolutely awful. And I'm not even a baseball guy. People would post a clip like, look at this call. And I'd see it go across my timeline. I'd be like, man, that's a bad call.
Yeah.
That's a bad call. So people have been calling for, get rid of, the umpires, get in robot umps. We've already got the camera. We've already got the computers. We can authenticate against the umpire's call because the umpires are wrong so often that we use the computers to check their homework.
Yeah.
And then, it's like, well, then why do we even have them? If they're this bad at it, if they're so bad at this, why are they even here?
You know what's funny?
And
the
solution was not, let's get robot umpires. The solution was, let a woman do it.
Oh, yeah. Make it even worse. Yeah. So the technology, you're right. It exists. They have one of my childhood favorite ball players, a guy named Eric Burns, used to play left field for the A's. He was an umpire for a game. I don't remember what level, but what they did was he stood behind home plate and something would tell him in his ear if it was a ball or a strike instantly, like from wherever it was. And so they would send that to him and he would call it. And what he said was, in the stands, it was no different. People had no idea I was calling balls and strikes on an ear thing. But because it wasn't the major league level, they could do that. They could test the system and whatever. In spring training this year, they added the challenge. You could challenge a ball and a strike, and that's this. So if you see the batter go, no, challenge, that's them saying, well, what's funny also, they had to ban people during the regular season doing this as like a crap talking thing because people were doing it. Like, you're not supposed to, there's certain things batters will do that people in the know will know he's saying that's a bad call. Like they'll do a line. They'll take their bat and draw a line.
Yeah.
And that's where the ball was actually at.
Or they'll put a garbage can where the umpire stands.
Well, that's But anyways, I've been a big
crash out.
I've been a big advocate of we say robo so it's just computer.
Yeah.
The computer doing it. And it's the same technology that they use for tennis at the highest level of tennis. If you've watched that over the last couple of years, they have a cool thing where, there'll never be another John McEnroe moment where he's like,
right,
it was clearly on the line. Chalk went up and everything. Like there'll never be another one of those because now they have the computer and it'll show you.
They even had it on camera, but because they didn't have a verifying system, they were just like, we've got to go with the ump. You can't challenge.
For those who don't know, this is, I don't know. I found this interesting when I was a kid and someone told me for the first time. The difference between a referee and an umpire, do you know the difference?
Well,
have you ever...
I mean, I've never had it expressed to me, but in my mind, there's a clear difference between a referee and an umpire because a referee kind of tells people where to go and what to do, whereas an umpire just makes a decision about what has already happened, right? So in my mind, that would be the differentiation.
The way that I would differentiate that is that, I guess the way it's officially differentiated is a referee is calling like penalties things like that. An umpire is calling the game itself. So what I mean by that is, like, in baseball, there's a very specific thing with a pitcher and batter where there has to be somebody there to say not a penalty, but whether or not it was a ball or a strike.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or if somebody is at a base, whether they're safe or they're out, there has to be somebody there to make that decision. Yeah. That's an umpire. A referee would say that's a penalty. That was off, that was offsides. That was a slew foot in hockey. That was, there's.
So what you're saying is when an umpire throws somebody out of a game, it's actually him acting like a referee. When he.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I guess that's official. But yeah, that is the difference. That's why they're called umpires. Like, there's umpires in hockey. You never hear about that.
Right.
But the umpire is the guy who's saying whether or not the puck was a goal or not. Like, that's a call that has to be made. It's not a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So I think football also has one umpire there. So that's
interesting.
It's a whole thing. I didn't know you were going to bring this up, so now you got me on my soapbox about we need to have all that to say. This is why I don't like football nearly as much as baseball, because in football, let's say guy throws this amazing touchdown, it's caught, and then there's that moment where you're kind of sitting there and you're like, is this going to get overturned? Was there a penalty? I don't know.
Was
if
there
I just
a flag on the ground?
Yeah, did I witness a touchdown or not? I don't know. Right? I can't celebrate yet. But in baseball, as soon as you hear the crack of the bat and trajectory-wise that's a home run, it's a home run. There is no taking a home run back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my baseball could be so pure. Now that we even have instant replay on like safe or out calls.
Dude, some of the close calls that have come out the last year or so, I guess Twitter knows that I like it because it shows up in my algorithm.
Yeah.
But some of these moves these guys have been pulling, just dodging around stuff as they're landing on base and sliding and then over sliding and jumping back as the ball's flying over his head. It's just some of these things have been really, really impressive. And I never watched any sports growing up. We didn't have a TV. Never listened to sports on the radio. I never could get the hang of it. But, if I were to watch sports, I'd probably want to watch something like baseball, cricket, the Ashes every year or every 2 years, however often the Ashes is, I forget. But that's where England and Australia play against each other for the Ashes of English cricket. And when I was in India the first time, that was on, and we watched I want to say it was a 3-day game.
Yeah, cricket.
And man, I loved it. And I was like, man, this is really cool. And you can see how the two sports are really related, but there's something superior about baseball and cricket as opposed to other sports. I mean, maybe I'm just elitist. I don't have enough money to be elitist, so I should really cut it out.
You know what it is? For me, and this is true of cricket, but less so, that in baseball, each part. So first of all, it's not a stadium; it's a park. Right. That's the idea. You're playing in a park, and each one has different ground rules. Right. So like the fence. Like if you've ever been to Fenway Park is my favorite ballpark I've been to. Fenway Park is weird when you go there if you've never been there before, because that left field wall, the Green Monster, it's so big and it's like way close. So it's very, very close, but it's huge. So you're not really hitting cheap home runs, but it's
if
weird.
You get over it.
Yeah, it's weird being there because you see it like I've been there live. Like to watch a home run go over that is weird looking. It doesn't. You don't see a full arch. You see it just go. It clears it, and you're like, oh well, that's the wall. And there used to not be seats on top of it, but yeah, each
decided they could make money off of it.
Each place there's a cool graphic if you look it up, and it'll show it'll show the foul lines, not the foul lines. What am I trying to say? The amount of foul territory that is playable with the fences, like how far away those are of every major league ballpark, and it's just cool to see because it shows how different everything is. And that's not even like the historical ballparks. Like some of them had, what was the Polo Grounds where the Giants played when they were in New York was like, it was a football field. It was like playing, like the pitcher and catcher are like in the end zone, and then the other side, it's just straight. So it's like really short walls on the sides, and then it's just way down there. And we'll never see like the catch. Like people will talk about the catch is a Willie Mays catch. I want to say during a World Series, and it's at the Polo Grounds, but there'll never be another one like it because he had to run so far back to make that catch.
To make the catch.
And now there'd just be a wall there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then, I've only been to 2 baseball fields as an adult that I can remember. When I was very young at a baseball game, I actually got clocked in the head, and I got a bunch of free stuff for it. So the ball came down, and it went into the stands, and it hit me in the head, and I screamed like a baby. I guess I was 3 or 4 years old. I actually can remember it pretty decently. And I got a ton of free stuff. Like
nice. My
parents already were there as guests of somebody. So like they had little kids bats and stickers and stuff. And then, I got the mother load of stuff. I just had stickers and hats and a little jersey, and it was pretty cool. Like my bedroom was decorated with that. But after that, I didn't go to another baseball game until I went to college. And I went to Globe Life Field or something like that. That's
in Texas.
The Texans up in Dallas.
The Rangers.
And then the Rangers. That's right. Texans is the Houston football team. The Rangers, and then I've been to Minute Maid Park, and those are the 2 that I've been to. And I mean, those are the 2 that are closest to me, so that's the 2 I've been to. But they're different. Even those 2 fields are pretty different from each other.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's, it's funny because people will be like, oh, sports ball, right? But there's something uniquely, there's something about America's fabric. Like, there's been a big renaissance of people talking about their people in place, and, you could even say like blood and soil, whatever. But, there's that third thing other than blood and soil. There's that third thing that doesn't define a nation, but
certainly has something to do with it.
It's that little unspoken thing, and baseball is part of that for America. Yeah, it's just you can't divorce it from, like, even in Japan, Korea, Latin American countries. Oh my goodness, love baseball, right? And you can see it when you watch a major league game. There's a ton of Japanese players. I don't know if there's a ton of Korean players, but Latin American players like crazy, right? Obviously,
I remember a couple years ago there was a picture going around of who's on first, and it was a Japanese guy standing on first base. The back of his jersey he said "HU." Who?
Yeah.
So it was like, it happened. Who's on first?
But there is something. It's an American thing. So like when people say, like, "Oh, sports ball, whatever," like it was handed down to me from my dad.
Yeah,
that's how I became a fan of the game. I played it growing up. I know that George W. Bush had, maybe famously, I don't know, but he had said that he learned that he was the only president to have played baseball growing up, which I don't know
really
how that would be true, but it's something he has said. And if you want to, I know you're trying to move on, but if you want to see
George Bush would never lie.
Well, George W. Bush, yeah. He wanted to be the owner of the. Was he the owner of the Texas Rangers, or did he want to be the owner of the Texas? I don't remember which it was.
About that.
But he, if you want to see a great piece of American history, look up George W. Bush throws the first pitch at the World Series. It was the 2001 World Series. I want to say it was Game 3 because it was the first game played in New York because it was the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. And there's actually a pretty cool documentary about it. It's maybe like 40 minutes long. It's called The Pitch or something like that. And it's like the whole background and what was going on in the country at the time because it was right after 9/11. So baseball, I can talk about baseball all night, but I know you want to move on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we can show.
Get women out of my sport.
I think we can show the video.
Oh, here you go. Yeah.
For tonight's ceremonial first pitch, and please welcome the President of the United States.
So the story is Derek Jeter, the shortstop for the Yankees at the time. He tells like George Bush is warming up before the game downstairs, and he's like, should I do it from the mound or should I move up? And he's like, oh, if you don't do it from the mound, they'll boo you.
Oh yeah,
and then Jeter says, and if you bounce it, they'll boo you as well. So he's wearing a bulletproof vest and he's fighting that and perfect strike. Look at that, man! What a moment. Not my favorite president, but man, what a
real man.
Yeah, I mean that took some guts, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, you've got. I mean, I don't like the Iraq War, and I think that 9/11 had some nefarious things going on with it. But I don't think that this man had anything to do with 9/11.
No, I don't think so either.
When people do the whole George Bush did 9/11 thing, no. George Bush did not do 9/11. First off, he wasn't in there long enough. His dad might have had something to do with it. That I believe. I think his dad probably had something to do with JFK getting shot. So the idea that he had something to do with 9/11,
I think going into Iraq had a lot to do with his father's involvement with Saddam Hussein. Yes,
exactly.
I 100% believe that there was no reason for us to go into Iraq as a result of an Afghan dude. That's another crazy. Another rabbit hole, if anyone wants to go down, is man, I can't think of his name at the moment. There was a guy, he was assassinated on September 10th, 2001. He was in Afghanistan. His nickname is the Lion of Panjshir, and I can't think of the dude's name. Ahmed Shah Massoud is what I want to say. He was a big like military leader. I mean, he was to a lot of guys there. He was like their George Washington. And he was assassinated the day before 9/11. I want to say it's Ahmed Shah Massoud is the guy's name. The Lion of Panjshir, Panj.
Ahmad Shah Massoud.
There you go.
Yep.
So that's an interesting rabbit hole to go down to. This guy that got assassinated the day before 9/11.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. And very interesting looking dude.
There he is.
There's a weird physiognomy. Everybody knows.
Pull this up because I know you're here. I'll add it to the stage. There you go.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's. There we go. Get it nice and full size.
That's the guy.
There's a weird physiognomy with. Everybody knows that. You could pick out. Oh man, my mind is blanking on him. But Minnesota's full of
Norwegians.
No, but Africans.
Oh,
Somalians.
There you go.
There's this weird physiognomy that Somalians have, and they actually share what they're called as Arab Africans, and you can kind of see it. This weird looking guy. If you were to kind of mix him with a sub-Saharan African, that's how you ended up with these people, and that's why they don't look like other Africans, but they also don't look like Arabs, is because they're this odd mixture on the coastal area there. And they have a very interesting history. I mean, everybody knows about the pirates and this, that, and the other. But if you're into world history, it's actually a really fascinating little country and really, really fun to look into, if a bit savage.
The hat that he has there, like, first of all, like everyone in Afghanistan has those. Also, those go all the way back to, I think Macedonians were the first people to wear that kind of hat. And that is the kind of hat that you always see like John Calvin wearing.
Really? It's the same hat?
Yeah, it's the same kind of hat. It's the same
That's
style.
Hilarious.
But they'll wear, if you've ever seen, what's his name that wears, there's an undercloth that him and other guys will wear that it's like a skull cap with long ears to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen that.
Who's the guy that I'm Richard Baxter, the pictures I see of him, he's almost always wearing one of those, just that, but it's one of those and then it's that hat, and it's like a Macedonian type hat, and
they wear them together.
Yes, you'd wear one over the other, which would kill you in Afghanistan. I don't know how those guys wear that wool hat in Afghanistan, but they're very popular out there.
Dude must have a bald spot the size of the sun. Anyhow. All right. Well, we've been going for a little while. Let's catch up on some of these comments, and then we'll get into our next story about DEI killing the country that we love. Dickie S. Talking about me getting hit in the head with a baseball. He says, that's why you're so crazy. Well, you would know, you were there. All right. Yeah. Explains it. For those who don't know, Dickie S, that's my older brother. And he's he's just salty because he didn't get the doubled up stuff like I did. All right. Paladin Wi-Fi says, hanging with the Proud Boys tonight. How's it going?
Proud of your boy.
Yeah, I can be proud of my boys without being a proud boy.
Yeah. Stand back and stand by.
I'm not a Dominican, so I didn't feel like I needed to join the Proud Boys. John Carter, I'd be into sports if pro teams were actually local and regional instead. You know, that's something dude. I really hate. When I was a kid, and I lived in Germany for most of my childhood. My dad was in the U.S. Army. And I was on the local football team, the soccer team, and it was local. And then whenever we played the out-of-town kids, it was the other town. We're going to play the other town.
Yeah.
And then when it came to, the national football teams, they were actually national football teams. If you look at a soccer team today, the French football team is all Africans. Like, there's not a single French guy on that team. Not a one. And if you look at the Scottish team, it was kind of hilarious a while back. Back in the 90s, people would talk about, soccer. They'd say, international football. The best international football team would be the English team with one Scottish guy on it. And that's not the way it is now. I mean, it's all foreigners on every team, just mixed in. FIFA used to be something to watch because you'd watch the Argentinians go play against, the Moroccans or something. You'd watch the Macedonians go and play against Spain. And it was actually Macedonians on one side of the field, Spaniards on the other. They would actually play in a national game. Now you watch these FIFA games, and it's like, why are these people who are obviously not French on the French team? Why are these people who don't speak German as their native tongue, why are they playing on the German team? And FIFA's keeping more of that than a lot of these other teams, but still, I like regional sports. I wish it was still a thing.
Yep.
Paladin Wi-Fi, how does God's sovereignty play eye to 9/11?
You know what? Well, what was weird? When I first read this comment, I like inserted Romans into that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to that being the conversation. And it took me a second reading to be like, oh, Romans isn't even in that.
Yeah. It's funny. The same thing happened to me too. I was just kind of watching out of the corner of my eye as it popped in. It says sovereignty 9-11. And I was like, Romans 9? What are we talking about?
Here we go again.
But when it comes to the sovereignty of God and bad things happening, I mean, you can have people ask about this any which way. Why does God allow murder and rape to happen? Well, we don't know. we know that he does. We know that he uses, what Joseph said in the Old Testament when he's talking to his brothers. He says, what you intended for good, for evil, God intended for good. And it's the same verb. All right.
Yeah.
You intended it for evil. God intended it for good. Not God allowed it to be good. Not God, tricked you into making it good, or he worked really hard to bring it back. No, he intended it for good. And I don't know. When I look around and I see our society crumbling, I see what looks like in 100 years, our country no longer going to exist. In 1,000 years, my progeny may be no longer existing, my race and my nation gone from the face of the earth. It's really upsetting. But the thing is, God does things for a reason, and we don't always know why. And we just have to trust him that whatever he does is good. On the other hand, we need to fight for what we believe is right to get the outcome that we desire that would be righteous. But whatever God does, the judge of all the earth will do right.
I will say this as far as 9/11. This is getting like super esoteric with it, but God knew from eternity past that he would cause my children to be born. In order for my children to be born, both me and my wife had to start dating in Afghanistan in the U.S. Army. For us to be in Afghanistan, 9/11 had to happen. So
there you go.
That's my way of saying, like, it's all there's good things that come out of 9/11, but like that's kind of my answer. Like, it wasn't like, oh, now I have to, like, God's like sitting there, whoa, I don't know, now his progeny is this whole other line now because of 9/11. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see that they would take over the plane with box cutters, and that's
a thing that definitely happened.
And jet fuel and steel beams. That's like there's like words, like a 2-word phrase you could say that's like if I say wooden doors, you know what I'm talking about. If I say, even if I say like steel beams or jet fuel, even like one of those, you'd be like, oh, he's doing a 9/11 thing. Or if I say like box cutters, you're like, oh, I know what this is.
Yeah. And
anyways,
I mean, I didn't change my position on this until within a year ago. And what happened was I was scrolling Instagram and I saw a video of Building 7. And Building 7 fell despite not being hit by a plane. And right before it fell, you literally watched the explosions happen in the window across the entire face of the building, and then it collapses. And it's like, okay, you can't argue with that. I just watched that happen with my own eyeballs. And once I
look up the guy that bought,
I was like, okay, that's really upsetting.
Yeah, look up the guy that bought the World Trade Center like the summer before.
Yep, bought it a year before it happened, and he insures it. He gets this huge insurance payout, and what do you know? And then you've got this art installment of Israeli artists who are in this building exactly where the airplanes hit miraculously. That's the part of the building that they're in. Just very, very bizarre. Very bizarre. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. Dickie S. As the French Foreign Legion. He says FFL. At first I thought Federal Firearms License, but
I was like, what?
Foreign Legion. As French as the French Foreign Legion, which is to say not French, because actually foreign. Let's see. Bertzkopf. Looking forward to this episode. It's here. You're welcome. John Carter.
Here you go.
It's pretty sad when the commercials are less diverse than the athletes on the field. Talking about good genes and athletics, I guess. Pretty bizarre. We've had our own problems here in the States, but internationally it's been a thing as well. John Carter again, 9/11 had to happen so that we could listen to this show tonight. There we go. There is,
there you go.
There is your answer.
There it is.
Paladin Wi-Fi. There is your answer. 9/11 had to happen so that this show could happen for future generations. And we are
That's right.
We're glad to be here with you. He said the word.
Oh, did you add that to the?
I did
list?
not.
We need to
I
get
did
that
not.
clip
I
on
do
it.
need to
Oh.
grab that one because that is an excellent clip. But all right, if you
What
could
are we
take that
talking
comment
about now? What
down,
do we got?
and
Oh, yeah.
and I'll add this to the stage. So I found this on Twitter, and I want to say, first off, this will be an exercise in the friend-enemy distinction. All right. When I first saw this is what my timeline looked like. I see Aspen, shark fraught, I'm so fired. And here is a cabinet. This is a CNC machine that has been launched on its side halfway through a project. I have no idea how you even do this. So I'm not a tech guy. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a math person. I don't understand how CNC machines work, but I have seen them used on YouTube and Instagram. Instagram knows that I like videos of CNC machines and hydraulic presses and tires blowing up and things like that. So I get a lot of those videos when I'm sitting on the couch scrolling with my kids. I'll see a lot of CNC machine videos. But he says F me, and then Boss Steve just got off the phone with the insurance company and the MD. I assume that's medical doctor.
Yeah.
My office Monday 8 a.m. Do not be late. And then he's reaching out to somebody. Can I get a sponsorship from a CNC machine tool company? Probably not, my guy. But this is the comment that caught my eye. So before I saw this comment, I was all on the side of Aspen. Oh man, dude, I've messed up at work before, and I hate to see this happen to you, and I'm just feel really bad for you. And then Edge Toshi says, these truants are out here actively trying to FS up in all aspects of their lives. And his comment is, I'm better than you in every way of my job and life.
Except for being a woman or whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah, except for not blowing up CNC machines at work. How about that?
Probably trying to make some kind of fake body part or something with the CNC machine.
Oh, MD is marketing director. My wife.
There you go.
Just came in and saved me. Came in clutch. But Aspen says 18 plus. Oh, and what's this? She, her, minus 25. Oh, so it's a girl. Oh, okay, so it's girls. Girls are the reason CNC machines don't work. No, it's not a girl.
Oh!
That's a dude.
Woof!
That's a dude. And he says, if you're trans, you have to drink chocolate milk. Even if do not achieve anything else, drinking chocolate milk is enough.
What?
Sick. That's a dude. That's just a fat dude with boobs. All right. And I'm guessing he's not in the U.S. because he's got a UK flag on this. This marketing looks very European on this thing here. But it's like, this is not a woman. This is a dude with makeup on.
Yep.
And it's just a fat dude with makeup who destroys CNC machines. So once again, DEI hires ruining everything. Yep. Ruining literally everything. So like I said, exercise in friend-enemy distinction. I was ready.
Throw this comment up there.
Go ahead.
So desperate to be a woman, he adopted gross incompetence. That's a good one. He was so good at being a woman that he actively lost his spatial awareness. Yeah. Maybe tried to use that machine to do something it wasn't designed to do. Just like he probably
be doing with his own body.
Yeah. Probably cut a piece off and did whatever.
But some of the comments in here, somebody said did you misplace a decimal? I'll ask my apprentice. Operator error. It's the palette swapper and nothing to do with operators. Sir, have you tried being better at work holding? I'm giving this a like just because he said her.
Good job.
And how, I don't know. Yeah, that was a lot of people in the comments asking, how did this happen? How did this happen? I'm a programmer. I don't know what happened. Press green button and go boom. Yeah, I like this. God is testing me, and I have not studied. It's like, we'll give that a repost right now because that's just such an excellent meme. God is testing me, and I have not studied. Yes, indeed. Maybe you should study how to be a man. Anyhow, we'll leave that at that. So on this next video, talking about DEI hires, that's I tried to find the best clip that I could for what happened here. And this is awful. It is illegal.
Oh, this isn't going to be the truck driver, is it? Yes. Oh, no. This is awful.
As a truck driver, I just want you to know this is very easy to do if you're not paying attention. And it's a lot easier to do if you're not paying attention to the laws, especially if you didn't grow up here and you don't know the laws. If you come from some place like India where there practically are no laws.
Yep.
Okay, I have driven in India. It is a nightmare and it is terrifying. And there are rules, and they're very different than ours. And they're very much if you can get away with it kind of rules. But here is the video. I will play it.
Full screen, yeah.
Full screen.
Oh, boy. Man, that just really... He's like, slightly annoyed, and then just sitting here like...
For you. So here he is. Boom. Minivan. Now, I want you to note something. Okay. That minivan did not have time to stop. All right. At the moment that he pulls off this turn,
yeah,
he is off the road on the right-hand side, and he turns to cross these lanes of traffic full of cars. There's the car. Here it's coming, highway speeds. It does not have time to stop. That car is hitting the brakes as hard as it can. Boom. Decapitated. An entire family of 3 was just murdered by an Indian. And look at his behavior. Sees the car, pulls the brake, fire trucks all pull up, people pulling people out. They're not pulling out live people. They're pulling out dead bodies.
Yeah. And this dude just sitting there looking like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom right here.
Man, I'm so ticked off that you're going to make me late. Now I'm going to have to wait. I just can't believe that you would put me through this. That is the face of the person who did this. Is that an American? Is that a man who should even be here? Is that a man who should be driving an 18-wheeler on our highways? I'm a truck driver. It's what I do for a living. And I can tell you a couple times that I've been run off the road by Sikhs who, for some reason, they want to drive trucks on the U.S. highway system, and they do not pay attention, and they will run you right off the road. And I was in a dump truck. I'm in a truck just as big as the truck he's in. I'm not hard to see in a mirror. I should not have been hard to see. Minivans are not small cars either. You should have seen that too. But, I got run off the road. I've been run off the road a couple times by foreigners, by minorities. It's really funny. You get run off the road and then you catch up to the guy and you look over and you're like, knew it. Because there are certain stereotypes, and stereotypes are typically true about certain kind of people being certain kinds of drivers. Oftentimes, if a minivan cuts you off and almost hits you, almost always it was being driven by a woman. Is that because women are bad? No. It's just because women are not as good a driver as men in general. But this was preventable. And this was preventable because all you had to do was not import Indians and give them driver's license and let them drive 18-wheelers. I mean, even if you want to import Indians to run gas stations, you don't have to let them drive 18-wheelers. Even if you want to import Indians to run hotels, they don't have to be on the highway driving 18-wheelers. People who haven't grown up in our system, around our road system, in our culture, are not going to be integrated easily into that system. Proclivities aside, hereditary proclivities aside, people who aren't from here shouldn't be driving 18-wheelers. Full stop.
Yeah, I don't see a benefit. I don't think anyone has seen an actual benefit to importing any Indians at all, other than business owners that can now do things cheaply. It's frustrating. You call it like a customer service hotline or something like that. Like I called an HR department for the company I work for, and it went to an Indian. I was like, are you even in America right now? Is that who's running human resources? Like what is going on with this country? I mean, I get it. They're cheaper, but now you've got
really doing a better job.
No, I mean, that's been the big thing to come out of all this, is with all this H-1B drama, is that it's like, wait a second, they're not importing. The whole idea was, we're going to import the best of the best. We're skimming the best off the top of some other country, but in reality, you're just getting it cheaper, and you're getting what you pay for. And these people are not better at what they do. Some dude probably saved $1 hiring this guy, and now 3 Americans are dead. I hope that this video in particular really pisses people off. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that for a lot of people, this is a breaking point, that they see that face that you paused on right there, and they're like, why in the hell is this dude sharing a country with me? Who authorized this? I didn't get to vote for it.
Yep.
Who said this was a good idea?
That's something people point out. Here we are going across the world killing people in order to instill democracy, right?
Yeah, democracy.
And at home, every time the people are given a choice to vote, they vote against sodomy, they vote against immigration, they vote against these things. In California, they voted down gay marriage, and then the Supreme Court of California enforced it anyway.
I remember that.
When people get a vote about immigration, they always vote against it, and yet we're always flooded with immigrants. Anytime the English or the Germans or the French have ever been given a referendum on immigration, they always vote against it, and it always happens anyway.
Yep.
So the democracy is a fraud. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Anyhow, here's another video to.
Oh no! Please.
So this is in Canada. Who is verifying these Class 1 licenses in Canada and the U.S.? The same illegal maneuver seen in Canada by a Punjabi driver was done in Florida. A semi-truck making a U-turn on the turnpike killed 3 people from Florida City, Pompano Beach, and Miami. So here you go. Here you got, again, foreigners who do not respect the middle of the road. Traffic is stopped. Instead of stopping and waiting, he's like, well, you got to turn around and drag my kickstands through the mud, drag these tires through the mud. That is one thing that I think people underappreciate, is just how all-terrain 18-wheelers are. Because they have a high wheelbase, 18-wheelers can get through a lot of terrain other cars can't. I know that because I drive a dump truck off-road for the majority of my job. But he's damaging the bottom of that vehicle where he bottomed out. He scraped his fuel cells. He dragged his kickstands. And he's tearing up the road. And he did it right in front of oncoming traffic. Now, It looks like this guy had room, but still, this was an illegal maneuver. It's not something you're supposed to be doing. And this guy, I'm not exactly sure what this guy's saying here. I think he's referring to the Punjabi that we just saw in the video, not saying that this driver is a Punjabi. We have no idea who this guy is. He could be Mexican, Canadian, American, or some other nationality. But the point is, it's this is antisocial behavior. Okay, he is doing something that is against the rules in order to convenience himself, and he is putting other people at risk or even mere annoyance by doing so. Antisocial behavior is not always actually harmful in a direct sense, but it is a bad thing. And some of y'all will call me socialist because of that, and I don't care. But we need to have social mores. We need to have social behavior. It's a good thing. All right, I got one more story, but let's grab some comments before we go again. Let's see. Dickie S. Indian because he's an alien. Indian because he's Punjabi, I believe, is Indian because he's from India. So yes, he would be an alien. Yep. Yeah, Indians are very different people when it comes to driving. Laws are a result of a people in a place, and the people in India certainly have a very different idea of how to conduct themselves in traffic. So they inherited a lot of English ideas, like driving on the wrong side of the road, and the traffic signs have a lot of similarity to England, and there the similarity stops because their behavior in traffic is very different. And part of that, I think, is because there are so much foot traffic in India. More and more people have cars every day, but when you have a country of 3.5 or 4 trillion people or billion people, whatever it is,
definitely not trillion.
Yeah,
definitely not.
4 billion people in India.
That's half the world's population, dude.
Yeah, it's 3/4 of the world's population, I believe it is just in India and China.
I can see that.
It's just massive, and half of it's in India.
But in 2000, I think it was when I was in 6th grade. I remember that distinctly. I think that was 2000. The world passed the 6 billion mark.
Yep.
We just recently passed 8 billion. No, 8 billion. 8 billion. Very recently.
Yeah. When I was in India in 2012, we were about to pass 7. And then we passed it not long after. At least I think it was. I might be getting confused about which number it was that passed, but also India passed up China and didn't slow down. Didn't slow down a little bit. China had a big moment to put the brakes on, and one-child policy had a lot to do with that, but it wasn't everything. Liberalism, women going to college and getting careers had a lot to do with that too. But India still really, really taken off. And there is something to be said about being a world superpower just by sheer population. India has nuclear weapons, but they're Indians. So it's like, are they really going to be capable of launching a nuclear weapon into Russia? Maybe. I mean, the Soviets were grossly incompetent, and they were far more competent than Indians on a national scale. So, I'd be much more worried about Soviet missiles than Indian missiles. That being said, I mean, they've got a huge army. And it's funny, anytime you see them rolling around in their troop transports, they're wearing their BDUs and rubber boots and baseball caps. It's like, very, very low budget. Very low budget. But you know what? During World War II, the USSR threw a bunch of low-budget armaments into Eastern Europe, and it worked. Numbers. The numbers game is a real game.
They also had the most unforgiving winters of anywhere on Earth. So let's factor that in.
I mean, Hitler, Napoleon. I mean, you can
invade Russia
back and back. It's like. And they didn't invade Russia in the winter, but they did stay there.
They got caught
invaded,
in the winter.
They invaded in the summer and they didn't get out before winter. It's like, well, distinction without a difference.
It's actually a very harrowing tale from the if you hear the story from the people that were liberated by the Germans in World War II in Russia. Was Leningrad, I want to say it was one of those two, one of the grads. But they're like, people still see the Germans as heroes because of that. Like, and that's, but then they stayed too long and they froze. And I mean,
it was very funny. When I was a kid, I had a friend who was Polish. He was half Polish, half Mexican in Texas. So his mom's Polish, his dad's, well, not Mexican, but Texan, Hispanic, Tejano, but an English native speaker.
Sure.
And so here you have these white kids who are Mexican and Polish, but very, very much white. But, they had their grandmother staying with them. And it was just kind of a funny joke among us because she was a Hitler youth and she loved Hitler, but she was Polish. So it's like, you can't be Polish and love Hitler. And then you figure out the history and you're like, actually, when you look at what the Soviets were doing to the Poles, and then the Polish government, was pretty corrupt and pretty stupid. And then the Russians come in and start demolishing churches. And then the Germans come in and start building churches and giving people their freedom back. It's like, you don't have to be a good government for people to like you better than the really bad one that they just liberated you from.
Well, the benefit of being both Polish and Mexican is that the amount of people you need to change a light bulb can all fit in a single van.
That's right. That's right. There were lots of Polish jokes going around, plenty of Mexican jokes. It was a free for all. It was quite a funny assortment. The three of us. There was one Colombian kid. There was my Polish Mexican. There were two brothers, and then there were the three of us. And us three boys, we were all German, with a little bit of German Jewish mixed in there as well. It was quite the American combination. But Dickie says, I don't want people who grew up here driving either. Let's just walk everywhere. Dude, same. I'm like, I'm almost Ted Kaczynski out here. Like, man, technology was a mistake. Return to cave.
Let's be Amish.
Let's see. Dickie, would that be nationalist, not socialist? Yeah, I would say so. I definitely say I'm a nationalist, but I wouldn't consider myself a socialist. But a lot of people, when they hear me talking like a nationalist, accuse me of being a socialist.
I would say that nationalism is essentially just giving a crap about your people. And boomers interpret that as socialism because it's giving a crap about somebody other than yourself, which is for boomers, that's what socialism is. That's how we won the Cold War. We only cared about ourselves. We're very selfish.
Yeah. But, when people accuse me of being a national socialist, what I like to say is I'm not a national socialist. I'm a sociable nationalist.
There you go.
John Carter says billions. Yes.
Billions.
BMD, if you get what I'm saying. Dickie, humans need to put the brakes on.
9.
Well, we don't.
Well, these comments all go together. He then adds, keep it in our pants. Too late for that.
Disagree. I am going to procreate because it's an arms race.
Yeah,
all right?
It is.
And they're not going to stop, so I'm not going to stop.
Yep.
It's a nuclear arms race. If they're not going to stop, you're not going to stop. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
God told us to multiply and fill the earth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it, man. You can't stop
I'm going to do it. Can't stop.
Here.
Won't stop.
Dickie S., that sort of thinking has led to future generations being entirely comprised of people who are hereditarily incapable of keeping it in their pants. Yeah, there's some really crazy stories you'll hear from like African missionaries. This one guy was saying he was having a conversation with this woman, and a guy just came up behind her and started like banging it out from behind, and he was just like, what? Like, he's
What
mortified
are you doing?
because he's a white man who has
Mm-hmm.
more than 2 brain cells to rub together, and he's like, what is this? And she tells him he'll be done soon. That's not the point. You're missing the point. Like, this is a public place.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. You don't.
There are some people who just do not have the concept of delayed gratification.
Yes.
Just seemingly genetically, it just doesn't exist for them. And their society will look very different than one in which I want to live.
Yeah.
And, more power to them, but they should go live over there.
Yeah.
And
live on your
leave
own
me
continent.
and my people alone to live in ours.
John Carr continues, in other words, it isn't the humans who need to put the brakes on. That's right. It's ironic that he has, I guess it's not ironic, it's fitting that he has the it's also tiresome guy. That dude is like, if you've never seen that, it's called like Empire of Dust or Empire of Dirt, one of the two.
I think it's Empire of Dirt.
Okay. Fascinating. I love that movie. That dude is like,
I have yet to see it.
My God.
I've seen
the whole thing.
Maybe 45 minutes of clips.
You've probably seen the best ones. The very end of the movie is a clip that people like to show where he's talking with the African guy, and he's like, the Dutch gave you all these things, or whoever it was he says gave me. He was like,
the English, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, it was perfect when they gave it to you, and you've just let it go away for 60 years. You've just let it crumble. And anyways, it's a great movie. But yeah, he's right. It's not, people will talk about the movie Idiocracy. It's a Mike Judge movie. It's hilarious. I love everything Mike Judge has ever done, including Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, obviously. Office Space is great, but Idiocracy is it's a great movie. The one thing that's missing from it is the racial aspect. Because have you seen this movie?
No, but I know a lot about
Idiocracy. So the beginning of it is kind of like a
somebody sees a pair of Crocs, they feel like they need to mention the fact that they were in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Crocs. Yeah. The beginning of the movie is kind of it's like documentary style, and it's basically explaining like how humanity got retarded. And they show there's like this couple that is honestly kind of Jew coded. If I'm not, it's been a while since I've watched it, but they're like, they have like hedge funds and stuff. And they're basically like, well, the stock market took a dump. We don't think this is a good time to have a kid. And they end up like not having any kids because they keep putting it off. They have reasons for it and whatever. But then there's like, the good old boy quarterback or whatever, like hick kind of guy. And he's got like 3 girls on his arm. He's like, I'm having sex with all you tonight. And so it's just showing like his family tree just going crazy because he doesn't care. Right. Yeah. What they don't show is the third world. And then by the end of it, it's like, oh, it's just a bunch of retarded white people because only those people had kids. But in reality, if you just take that idea that the low IQ are the ones having all the kids,
and apply it nationally,
globally, where every map of the world has Africa bright red, and Europe is green, and Japan is green, and that kind of thing. I said recently on the Twitter machine, somebody had said something about population growth, like we're not afforded infinite population growth. And I'd say, if it was nothing but whites and Asians on Earth, we could hit 50 billion and
we'd be fine.
Crush it. Yeah. You could use the entire continent of Africa only farming. You can grow the world's food for 50 billion people just in Africa, and then have housing everywhere else. And you could figure it out. You could terraform the parts of Australia that are uninhabitable. That's a pretty good comment. Let's throw that in there. I like that. Idiocracy is the one movie which could actually benefit from a modern Netflix remake. Yeah, that'd be great. I would love. They would never do that. They'll never do Tarzan, and they'll never do Idiocracy.
Right.
Tarzan, if they, dude, have you ever read the Tarzan books? I read the first 3.
I have read the books and I have not seen the movies.
The first 3 Tarzan books they're fantastic, by the way. I forget who wrote them, but they're very, very good. The 4th one, I kind of stopped with. It was like Son of Tarzan, and I'm like, nah, it's getting too much in the weeds. But
I read it and I didn't like it. I thought it was too derivative.
Well, Tarzan, I want to say he's an English guy, and he gets stuck in Africa and he's raised by apes. But then Tarzan runs into some native Africans, and boy, does he. Well, just read it for yourself. You'll see. It's very, if you are racist, you will enjoy his run-in with the Africans. It's quite.
I will just say right now, disavow. All right, my perspective on race is not the same as the guy who made the Tarzan book, because I am not an evolutionist.
I see.
It is very funny to observe his observations from a perspective.
Edgar Rice Burroughs, is that who I'm thinking? Is that?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
I've read a couple of his books. He's a pretty decent writer.
Did he also write the John Carter books? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Like Princess of Mars, those ones?
I don't remember. I'm not a fan of them, but I remember seeing it when I looked him up one time. I think that's right. While you're looking that up, Empire of Dust, and it's set in the formerly Belgian Congo.
Yeah, sure enough. Tarzan of the Apes and John Carter of Mars. He's both of those.
Very cool.
I
need to give those ones a chance.
I never made that connection. The first book is incredible. The Princess of Mars. There's a lot of weird stuff in it, but really, really riveting. The second book is so boring that the CIA really should use it as a torture device. It is just so bad.
It's really telling, this is John Carter again, it's really telling how our tech futurist elites believe that there's a better chance of colonizing Mars than Africa and the rest of the global south. You know why? Because you can start from scratch, because there's not people in the way. If it was nothing but like, see, here's the crazy thing. This is going to get me on a tangent. When we talk about like, if the whole world was white people or something, I don't consider myself the top of white people at all. Mm-hmm. I don't put myself up there. I'm sure I have some talents. I'll let you all decide that, but I'm not going to be the scientist or who's the guy on Gilligan's Island that's like making telephones from coconuts and whatever. I'm the professor. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be that guy. Okay. Yeah. I'm not that guy, but if it was only white people, those guys would be more plentiful per capita, right? Yeah. We wouldn't have people. You know which picture, if you want to look this up while I'm talking about this, the picture of the woman with the sign in front of like Apollo 1 or something like that. I don't know. I don't. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know which number it was. I don't remember which mission it was, but it's a woman standing in front of a rocket going off, and it says like they got money for the moon, but not to feed my kids or something crazy like that, right? That is do you got it? No, that's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it is.
That's not it. That's pretty similar. Yeah.
This is a whole article. For $12 a day to feed an astronaut, we could feed a starving child for 8. And this whole article. And here are the folks that are leading this protest.
Hoy vey.
Payne wears a miniature hangman's noose around his neck with a note that reads, "I helped hang poverty," given to him by Reverend Ralph Abernathy.
Yeah. So, I'm sure he's very revered.
Check out that physiognomy.
Boy, that... Man, if you accurately drew that guy, you would get a hate crime charge.
You would get a hate crime charge. But the name of the article from history.com, why civil rights activists protested the moon landing. In 1969, NASA was spending millions on the Apollo space program, and some argue that money could have been better spent. Yeah. But this, yeah, I know the sign you're talking about. It's these same people. It's actually this woman in the flower dress. It's her with her sign. But I don't know where that picture is. I don't see it here.
Oh, yeah. It's just, it was a picture that very much radicalized me. If someone finds it, let us know.
Rockets or rickets? Boy, some of these signs are just really hilarious.
We have confirmation by John Carter himself. Edgar Rice Burroughs is also the author of the Barsoom series. Yes. Okay. Well, there you go.
I'm not familiar with it.
I imagine he's saying that. Oh, unless that's a separate thing. I don't know. Well, he'll get back to us. There was a lot of weird but riveting stuff in the first book in the series I read today. He says he has given it to us on a secret underground chat.
That's right. Encrypted, end-to-end encrypted.
Speaking of our friend John Carter, he said he finally read Thello, which I always appreciate hearing people. It's crazy. There's still people that are like, oh, I finally got around to reading it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Thanks for doing that.
Here's to the point that you were making earlier. You know, if the entire world was 50 billion white people, it would still not be as bad. As a matter of fact, for people who think that that's racist and white supremacist, it'd be even better if they were Japanese.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're efficient.
I mean, they're okay. I can't be a white supremacist if I can make a holdout for the Japanese being better at all these same things.
Yeah.
But if the entire world's 6.9 billion people lived in one city, how large would that city be if it were as dense as Paris, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi? San Francisco, you'd be Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. If it were as dense as New York, it would only be the state of Texas. London, a little more spread out. You get New Mexico. Singapore, quite nicely packed. Houston is spread out, man, and it takes up the majority of the Midwest and half of the South. You know, you've got, but that's 7 billion people.
Yeah,
7 billion people could live in a city as densely packed as Houston, and Houston has bad traffic, but it's bad management. Yeah. Okay, but Houston, I mean, if the entire world's population could live in a city the density of Houston like that, now, obviously, you got to be like, okay, where's the food going to come from? That's one thing that I was always wondering about. You know, so when I was in high school, I lived in this town just down the road from me now, and all of the fields around us grew food. It would be wheat, barley, oatmeal. We grow a lot of oatmeal here. Corn. Those fields are all neighborhoods now. So I drive by those and I end up always wondering, okay, where's the food going to come from now? Because it's not coming from here anymore. I used to drive by this field every day or walk by it or see it out of my window, and it was always producing food. I mean, in the years that I lived there, there must have been millions of bushels of food that were created by these fields, and now they're parking lots full of cookie cutter houses that have an expiration date that are going to be demolished in 20 years.
Yeah.
And it will never be good pasture again, because even if you try to turn it into a farm, it's going to be full of gravel and asphalt and concrete and rebar and plastic. I mean, it's never going to be as good as it was. So you've ruined it for agriculture. Where is the food coming from now? So that is a question that is to be had. But you know, we can do it.
Yeah, I've got some things to add.
Yeah, so here we go.
I'll make this bigger if I can. Does that look good?
Yep. Billions for space, pennies for the hungry. And, you know, like some people point out, whenever you see misbehaving minorities, you'll see in the comments sometimes underneath the video, we traded the stars for this.
Yeah.
Because we did. You know, the reason we never went to the moon is because people like this demanded money.
Here I got a Can I put another? Let me see if I can share this here. Well, I'll just read this part. It says the Poor People's Campaign, literally what it's called, organized a protest at Cape Canaveral the day before the Apollo 11 launch. Billions for space, pennies for the hungry, read their placards. Musician and poet, some person I've never heard of, 1970 song Whitey on the Moon makes this point too. Well, bravo. For those who don't know, off the top of your head, Apollo 11 is the mission where we landed on the moon.
Correct.
So while we were doing something that still stands as one of mankind's greatest achievements, I mean, if you believe it happened, I believe it happened. I think it's kind of crazy that we don't. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. But it's one of the greatest things that mankind has ever done. And these people are like, yeah, but what about my Gibbs? Who's going to feed these children that I had?
But what about my free food, my EBT card?
Yeah.
You know what? We went to the moon.
Yep.
And we should have gone to the moon, and it's a good thing we did. And I like it.
We have a kind of an apology, maybe? I don't know. I fully intended to read Thello years ago, but it ended up buried under the hundreds of books I've bought since it was released. Yeah, I don't. I've got, you know what's a crazy one? This book. I asked for this book for Christmas close to 10 years ago, I think. The Temple and the Church's Mission. I've had so many books come in front of it. Like that's a good example of a book that I've done that too, where it's just like, I asked for that book. This one here. I went to the bookstore and bought this. I was going to read all these Ernest Hemingway books, For Whom the Bell Tolls. Never read it because, honestly, because what book of his I read that I just didn't really care for? The one, A Farewell to Arms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, didn't care for it. I was like, this is lame. I'm going to read something better than that.
Hemingway is one of those guys that I have no idea how they got famous.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
It's like
I can see it. Yeah,
I've read it and I'm just like, I'm not impressed. I have read far less famous people by whom I was far more impressed with their reach, their range, their art, their conveyance, just everything about it was better.
Yeah. Now, The Old Man and the Sea is a great read.
Pretty great.
Very much recommend that. So it's not like everything he's ever written is bad, but
yeah,
I felt the same way. I read A Farewell to Arms, and the ending in particular is awful. It's noted in, what is that movie with Bradley Cooper? He basically like runs into his parents' room and is just like complaining about the ending of the book. I don't remember what that one was called, but anyways, it was funny because I read an article where someone was, it was like this advice for authors guy, and he's like, Ernest Hemingway Ernest Hemingway wrote like the ending of A Farewell to Arms like 50 times before he found the right one. And I was telling the guy, I was like, were any of those any good? Because the ending he stuck with sucked. It didn't go anywhere. The whole book, it was like an open-ended sandwich. Like it never closed the deal. I read all this for no reason.
That was kind of the fashion for a while, where it was like, oh, well, we're just going to leave you to make up the ending for yourself. Like, no, don't do that.
That's your job.
Lame. That's your job. That's right.
Don't give me an assignment.
That's your job. That's what you do. Right. Okay. Just reminded me of this clip, which I always thought was funny.
This should explain everything. A Farewell to Arms. I fell in love with a nurse during World War I. Oh, just the title. There's no way you've read that. Never mind. We couldn't reattach your arms. Oh my.
It was funny when I was reading it because the guy in the book like hurts his legs, and they're like, we don't know if we're gonna be able to save your legs, and like I was like, they should have called it The Farewell to Legs.
That joke has been made many times. Yeah. I know when I was in high school and we were reading that book, that joke was made. It was actually A Farewell to Legs.
Yeah. A Farewell to Arms by Venus de Milo.
What was the man, there was something I was going to look up that we were talking about, and I've just completely missed it now. Let's see. Robert Louis Stevenson is the astronaut to Hemingway's Cricket.
What am I thinking? Treasure Island? Is that
Robert Louis Stevenson is fantastic. I love Stevenson. Treasure Island. Yeah. Treasure Island, Kidnapped. Dude, his one story about the War of the Roses, which is called The Black Arrow. Fantastic. One of my all-time favorite books. So I'm going to have to read that to the kids one day.
I've never read a Stevenson.
Love
I will have
Stevenson.
to.
Really? Do it.
He's on, but you know what? Here,
read them to your boy.
I just want to say this. There are so many great authors that there will at least be one amazing author who I will have not read when I die.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't read a lot. It's because there's just so many great ones. And that's what makes it really hard for me to read modern literature is because I would have to be the guy sifting through the stuff that might be good, might be bad. I don't know. But I know, like, the reason that I went and bought Moby Dick here, this copy of Moby Dick, is because I was going on a 30-day field training in the Army. And I said, I'm going to read this book because a bunch of people said it was awesome for 100 plus whatever years have said that this is a great book.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to read that one because they can't all be wrong. And it turned out to be my favorite still of all time, Moby Dick. Stevenson also wrote some wonderful children's poems. Well,
that's right.
I don't doubt that. That's what I'm just saying. Like, I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
I'm the guy.
Stevenson, in his life, he was famous for A Children's Garden of Verse, which is his collection of children's poems. And they're very sweet and wholesome and homey. But his adventure stories for boys are by far the better. He had, let's see if the foreword, I don't remember if it's in this one or in Kidnapped, but the foreword that he wrote was just very sassy. No, it's in Kidnapped, not in Treasure Island.
I see here the complete works for $30. That sounds like a good deal there.
Yeah, I don't have my Kidnapped up here for some reason. My son probably stole it. All right, but anyhow, we have one more story that I do want to go through real quick before we end out tonight on the topic of DEI destroying everything. USMC TAV-8B Harrier from VMAT 203 suffered a landing gear malfunction when trying to return to MSAS Cherry Point. The Marine aviator, realizing his gear failed to extend naturally, referred to SOP that dictated activating the backup safety nitrogen bottle to blow the gear down. Unfortunately for the pilot and the plane, when communicating the issue over the radio, a higher-ranking officer ordered him not to follow standard operating procedures and instead had a stack of strapped mattresses placed in the center of the runway. Much to the surprise of the officer who devised the imaginative contingency plan, I almost call it a contrivancy, which it would also be, when 23,000-pound fighter jet blowing down over 20,000 pounds of vectored thrust from its Pegasus engines settled down on its bed, the landing mattresses immediately responded with an uncontained, self-executed, rapid kinetic disassembly, exploding in a shower of metal springs, fabric, and coils that were quickly ingested through the spinning blades of the jet engine. Although the aircraft was extensively damaged, the pilot was able to climb out of bed without injury. When directors jacked up the Harrier jump jet, they were able to blow the gear down with no problem. This is when the story takes an even stranger turn. Once the jet was placed in the hangar, relatively undamaged structurally speaking, an easy-go golf cart came flying into the hangar and smashed directly into the jet, causing some D-level repair damage. It turns out the carpet cart operator was huffing keyboard cleaner shortly before making his carts run in Easy Go. He got dizzy, lost consciousness, and the cart, now driverless, turned directly into the hangar at full speed through a gap in the hangar doors and smashed into the parked jump jet.
I'm guessing we have pictures of these people.
We do not.
Oh, what's this have to do with DEI? How am I supposed to judge this story if I don't have?
Sean, how many people do you know who huff keyboard cleaner?
You know, I know one guy who has ever admitted to that, and he was a Marine. So, as far as stereotypes go, I now know of 2 Marines that have huffed keyboard cleaner. So
this is what happens when you take away their crayons.
Yeah.
Okay. The crayons didn't make them crash Easy Goes into the Harriers. So
we need at least a name.
This is speculation.
Yeah.
We do not know who it was who countermanded the pilot to not follow SOP. But here's the over-under, Sean. Right now. $1,000.
Send
$1,000 cash. You and me.
Okay.
All right. We do not yet know who the pilot is, but I will put $1,000 that it was either a woman or a minority. Will you take
now?
That
Are
bet?
we wait? Are we saying that the pilot or
not the pilot, but the officer,
the retard that said put mattresses under it, like a Wile E. Coyote thing? Yeah,
exactly. Okay,
$1,000. Wile E. Coyote.
How do you take that bet?
No, I'd be on your side of that bet. But I mean, I still need to know. Right? Like, so what's the? How would you even look this story up?
Well, the thing is, things like this are hard to find because the government the military especially tends to really sit on these stories, and this just happened. So it's not likely that we're going to get information. When I did a cursory search, I spent about 10 minutes. Not a long time, but I spent about 10 minutes looking to see if I could find out who the pilot, who the officer, who the Easy Go driver were, and I couldn't find anything on it. I found this story in 2 places, actually. Not as many places as I expected. As I said earlier in the show, when you had this Sarah Strawman lady, I was not finding mainstream news sources that covered the story, but I was finding lots of people on Twitter and on Threads, which is just leftist Twitter with nobody there. Lots of people reporting it, different people with different verbiage. They're not just copy pasting. So I feel quite confident that it happened. Sorry about that. I've still got some crud going on. But,
actually, I might have found the, was it Sierra Hotel is the website you got this from?
I got this from a guy on Twitter called Bullet Holes.
Okay. I think he got this because this is a comment from 2018 says this happened over 10 years ago. So this happened.
Is that right? That makes sense.
Got some interesting comments here. One guy from, May 2025. You probably looked it up just like we did. He said, no one ever outranks the pilot in command ever. I would agree with that.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that the pilot won't defer to
right. I understand
TO's judgment.
This guy says, this is from 2018. He said, this happened over 10 years ago. The senior officer works as a suit at Lockheed Martin. Yeah, I believe that. The aircraft commander's career was just fine. He actually said on the radio, just to confirm, you're telling me to violate NATOPS, right? I imagine that's like
You're telling me to break the rules, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah. Hilarious.
I would be... Boy, I really wish we had a name for this one. Let's see what else we got.
Well, if he knows who it is, somebody out there's got to have it. But, weird stuff.
I don't know. I'm starting to wonder...
If it was just gross incompetence, certainly possible. It is certainly possible.
I don't know. Couldn't find anyone else. It was just that one website, so it could have been made up. I don't know. Who knows?
All right.
I don't.
Well, let's close out with comments then. We've got John Carter here again. All the damage done by DEI pilots, truck drivers, and machine operators pales in comparison to the damage done by DEI authors, publishers, and librarians. Yeah, that's a good point. Because you can break equipment, but if you break the brain of your children, it's going to be a lot worse.
When I go to my local library, it's a private library, by the way. It's not run by the city, which leads to some interesting things. But when you look at their books, like they'll show the books that they're putting up in the front, like they're not in their regular spot or whatever. It's like, these are the best books. You should read these. It's always like some minority or female drivel. It's never any good. Like, you can just tell by the cover, like, oh, this is going to be like basically it's going to be the what is it? The author's barely disguised fetish or something like that. Or what?
Yeah, that's right. The opening from Police Squad,
Yeah.
the author's barely disguised fetish. Yep. Let's see, John Carter, keyboard cleaner whippets, defense spending must be hurting.
You know what was funny is
whatever you can get your hands on,
The Marine who said that he did this overseas, I think in Iraq, he said, actually, funny enough, no, I'm not going to say his name. I use his name as the inspiration for a character in here, so we'll just leave it at that. He said that if you turn it upside down, it'll like freeze your brainstem and kill you. So don't.
Correct.
If you're gonna huff it, don't do it upside down. Do it safely, the right way up. Safety first.
Still unadvisable. Let's see. John Carter quote: "Looks like I picked the wrong day to quit huffing keyboard cleaner."
Yeah,
that sounds like a familiar quote. That must
from
be from
Airplane.
A movie. That's right.
Airplane, yeah.
Right.
Where he's like, looks like I chose the wrong day to stop doing crystal meth. Or it just gets increasingly ridiculous as he goes.
It just gets worse and worse every time it comes up. Yeah. All right. Well, here's what I had for closing thoughts, and Sean, I want you to kind of pick up after me as I lay this down. One of the things that I was thinking about as I was putting together this compilation, this comedy of errors, this true comedy of absolute errors, was the fact that it is more important that we leave good children for our society than that we leave a good society for our children. All right, so it's kind of like that quote from President Kennedy. Ask not what you can do for your country, but what your country can do for you. And there's kind of a quiche or a cliche bumper sticker that I saw a lot as a kid. Instead of trying to leave a better country for your kids, try and leave better kids for your country. And it's a two-way street. You need to do both. I want to remove the foreigners to leave a better country for my children, but it's also important that I raise my children with a certain standard of living, a certain amount of self-respect, so that they, in fact, are able to continue the mission of leaving a better country for their children. It's not just a one-time thing. I don't just, punch my card, get my retirement, die by going on a million cruises.
Yeah.
But I intend to leave better children for my country and a better country for my children. It's both and, not either or. It's not just what my country can do for me. It's also what I can do for my country, but it's both. My country should be serving the needs of my children, and my children should be rebuilding my country. Yep. So that's what I wanted to talk about, is not just that, DEI is destroying things. You have foreigners, you have women being elevated above people that they should not be elevated above. Paul says quite clearly, I do not allow a woman to exercise authority over a man. Female bosses have been a disaster for the working race.
Yeah.
All right,
Our buddy posted a really great meme about that today.
Oh,
I don't know if you wanted to share. You want me to pull that up or?
Yeah, pull it up, Jamie.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah,
I must have missed it because I'm not thinking of it. But yeah.
Oh, dude, banger, absolute banger. I'll pull it up for you.
Women should not be bosses over men, just in general. Now there are exceptions. You know, if I and my wife had a servant, as it were, somebody working for us, obviously my wife can give him orders in my absence. Obviously my children are under my wife, so it's not a hard and fast all the time. But in general, women should not be bosses. Ask any man who has had a female boss. It's just not fun, right? It just doesn't go well. And then also,
you ready?
At the same time,
you ready for the banger meme?
Send it.
I got it pulled up. It's just fun to. This really was great.
Are you gonna share it or just read it off?
No, I'm gonna. You have to see it. Here we go. Share screen. I'm
All
still learning how to. Here we go. You ready? Can you see it?
Go ahead, send it. Add it to it. Or here.
Oh, is it not showing up?
Start over.
There you go. Paul's advice to women, and it's just the volume going down.
That's right. He was so real for that. Yeah, if y'all are not following Samuel Holden on Twitter, do that now. Yep. Paul's advice to women is a lot like the Rock Johnson's advice. If you remember that.
Know your role and shut your mouth. Yeah.
But, so we want to leave a better world for our children, but we also want to make sure that we're emphasizing the kind of morality that we want our children to have. It's a two-pronged fork, as it were. A two-pronged spear, a double-edged sword. If you want it to cut right, things have to be in balance. All right. Closing thoughts, Sean.
I guess when I think of what a nation is, it's an extended family. And so, I want what's best for my children, but also like at the same time, I have this extended family, so I'm not as loyal and as beholden to everyone as I am to my children. But the nation, there is a loyalty. How do I want to say this? I say this all the time, this thought, and I think it's related, is that people don't sign up to fight a war for like an idea.
Right.
Like maybe somebody gets in a crunch and they have to do it, or maybe they do it for money or whatever. But like people fight for a people.
Yeah.
You don't fight, you don't storm a beach under machine gun fire because democracy is better than fascism or whatever crazy thing, right? It's because you believe in your heart of hearts, whether you're right or not. I understand that, but you believe that you're fighting for the continuance of your own people.
Hearth and home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like even on a biological level, like, yeah, these might not be my direct descendants back home, but they are my people. Like my extended family keeps on going. When I think of like my brother and sister not having any kids, at least yet, one of my cousins, I've told this story before, but I've only got 2 cousins. Mm-hmm. And those cousins only have 3 cousins, which is me, my brother and sister. So it's like a very, very small family. And when I think of like my brother and sister not having kids, or one of my cousins not having kids, the other one finally had a kid, it's heartbreaking because I'm like, wow, it's like I'm dying off, even though I'm having kids. But so I guess it's hard to distinguish the two things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Even though I know Kennedy was saying, ask not what your country can do for you. I think if I think of my nation, ideally, the nation and the country would be an overlapping circle. Because at that point, what you would have is the ideal situation where the government represents and is composed of people of that same nation. So you don't have like one nation ruling over another, or you don't have like an empire type situation. But, you know, when you look at like what we were talking about George Bush throwing out the first pitch of the World Series. You know, you look at that and you're like, wow, that was a Texan, right? Like, that was our guy. Whether or not we agree with him on everything, you know, like our guy was up there and he was representing us. And so I have a hard
drive.
Yeah, now watch this drive. Yeah, it's hard to.
It's like, you know, George W. Bush is just one of my favorite presidents as a person.
Yeah,
just kind of as a character. If you ask me, you know, if you were going to go spend an afternoon with one of the presidents, who do you think you would have the most fun with? It would be like, George W. Bush. It would be so fun to just chill with him.
I think I would go for Bill Clinton. I think I would. And it might be, you know what? Like, I have.
As long as my wife and children were far enough away that he never saw them.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Bill Clinton he was also that guy. Like, he had a thing about him. Like, people seeing him play. People seeing him playing saxophone, like back in '92, dude. Like, that short circuited people. I also appreciate that in his '92 campaign, he used the battle flag quite a bit in his, because he's from Arkansas. Yeah. And so he had the battle flag for Clinton Gore. He'd have his battle flag out there. Anyways, it's hard for me to divide the two. Even though, like you said, like country wise, I don't. So if I'm able to use that distinction between country and nation, I don't give a rat's whatever about the country, right? I care about the nation. I care about my people. I care about the American people. You know, like we've said on this show before, I don't care if it's a monarchy that comes up. I don't care about democracy. I don't care about some esoteric ideal that only exists either on paper or in the mind, and it doesn't exist like actually boots on the ground. I don't care about any of that. I just care about my people. And if all of it has to go to hell so that Indians go and drive 18-wheelers into other people in some other country, then so be it. I don't care if we burn it all to the ground, as long as my people stay intact and are doing well. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but it was a bit of a rambling thing, but I feel like it's more.
All right, we have a few more comments that we're going to touch right before we end the show. Jim of the Kookaburra says, I read the Bible this year. I'm excited to die and rise again. I feel like this world is a purgatory. I stopped caring about surviving.
Wow, dude.
You should care about surviving, but I get it. That's not a good place to be, but I get it.
This next comment kind of relates with that. I'm going to put that in there.
I don't have a family, so it's easy to let go. I will fight for our people as long as I'm here any way I can. Well, the solution, my guy, is to get a family. Start a family. Find a girl, get married, have kids. Or if you are married and can't have kids, maybe that's your situation. I don't know. I'm not familiar with you. But, you know, one person, it's kind of a meme, but it's kind of true. People will say, you know, don't be sad it's over, be glad it happened. And there's an element to that as our society is crumbling. I've got to have that focus of, you know what, God did some wonderful things here while it lasted, and it might be saved, and he might preserve it for 1,000 years, or he might not. And whatever happens, God is good.
You know, 1,000 years from now, people are going to talk about the United States the way that we talk about the Roman Empire. People are that's going to be the meme is how often does your boyfriend think about the United States of America? And they're going to say every day. I think about it all the time. I wish I could have lived in it.
And then there will be interstellar debates about was everybody in the United States actually gay and retarded? And just like everybody today is like, well, the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans were all gay. They're going to be doing the same thing in 1,000 years. They're going to be like, well, actually, Americans were all homosexuals. They had pride parades all the time where people were just marching around with their flaccid things waving in the wind. They were just molesting children on those street corners. It was just normal there. just like everybody does with Rome today. John Carter says, George W. Bush was not a Texan, and I can't believe Jeff would let you get away with that. Bush family, Connecticut carpetbaggers. You know what? Here's what I have to say to that.
Whatever, bro.
Everybody in Texas came from somewhere.
Yep.
George H.W. Bush was not a Texan. I'll grant you that. And his dad was not a Texan. He was actually from Connecticut. George H.W. Bush was the first politician who was, stationed in Texas. He was put in Texas in order to take over oil industry and make a lot of money, and he did that, and he did very well. George W. Bush was a Texan, is a Texan. All right. He was raised here by, his family. He has a ranch here. For better or for worse, he is part of what we are. And that's not to say he's a perfect man. He's far from it. But he lives not too far from me. I can drive by his ranch. It's only 45 minutes away. So
we should hit him up, bro. We should party.
Yeah, we should try and have him on the show. Just reach out to George W. Bush. Say, hey, my less than 1,000 subscriber podcast. Would you show up?
Yeah.
You never know. Maybe he'll send me a Christmas present or something. Who knows?
But we've got 55 people on Twitter listening. So
hey, we're doing the big times now. We made it. All right. Well, speaking of the 55 people who have been watching, we appreciate everybody who has been along for the ride. It has been a fun show. And Sean, glad you're able to make it. When I opened the show, too. I told people that you weren't going to be here. And then here you are. You made it.
I wasn't sure myself if I was going to be able to make it. So,
yeah, well, I appreciate you kind of cutting things short and hustling over because the first 10 minutes of this show are going to be that's what this show would be without Sean. And the answer is,
was it bad?
Great. It sounded a bit like me shouting into a well, I'm sure. So anyhow, there we go. John Carter, ask him to paint the cover art for your third book.
Yeah, there you go.
He is a painter after all.
Yeah, he paints veterans that were part of his wars that got injured or something or killed or something. Like that's what he paints. Like I'm not making that up. That's a real thing that he does.
It's his penance. I think he really is his trying. I think seriously.
Guilty. Yeah, I think his conscience is pretty guilty. Yeah.
Yeah, that he's like, man, I feel bad about the things that I put people through. So it's tough to be in a position like that because, when he was president, everybody knew he wasn't really running the show. It was his dad and Dick Cheney who were actually in charge. And, it's a tough place to be. I wouldn't envy him that at all. And I think that moment, when the guy comes and whispers in his ear and all he's doing is reading to kindergartners, he's having a great morning. He's really enjoying himself. And his day, his world is ruined by his family, by his country, by his CIA. These people that his dad is in charge of have done this to him. And I think that I would not want to be in his position. But I think George W. Bush is a good man. Not the best, but I think he was a good man. Here I'll stand. I take my stand. All right. But anyway, thank you to everybody who's been along for the ride. It has been a fun show. Glad that we were able to make this for you. This was actually one of the more fun shows to put together. Sean, when you first told me that you weren't going to make it, I was like, man, should I cancel? I don't know. But it was just too good not to.
Yeah.
So,
we love talking about the failures of DEI. It's fun to just look back and kind of be like,
told you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hate to say I told you so. I love to say it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we hope you all have a wonderful night and farewell.